guys, welcome back to the 37th episode of the Two Brits, One Yank podcast. So we have my Brits here, Sam Bone and Solwanja Smith, and we have a very special guest, our first guest in a long time. Louie Annesley is joining the pod.
All right, lads, buzzing to be here. I'm acting like I haven't just had a 20-minute convo with you lot before,
Literally.
but
Can I just say, Connor, fair play.
yeah,
Fair
one
play.
take. Yeah.
Boys, for the past hour, I was saying that in the mirror directly. I almost forgot my lines, and here we are.
He's actually just got it behind his camera. He's got it all written up there.
Oh, but yeah, for those of you who don't know, I actually played with Louie for a few months when I was at Braintree earlier on in the season. Got him really well and a great guy. And we've been discussing guests we'd love to get on. And I think he has a very cool story that, overlaps quite well with our pod as well through some times in Ireland where Sam is obviously now. So yeah, really excited to kind of hear more about your story, Louie. And it should be a great episode.
Yeah, no, really buzzing to be on as well. Obviously, as I told you that before, obviously I've watched the pod, so I was excited to get on when you get popped me over that message.
Yeah, no, we're
Awesome.
all buzzing here.
There we go. Right, well, I suppose the first question we always start off is with our guest is, what's your first footballing memory?
Tough. I mean, yeah, looking back, I mean, I was always Sunday league. Obviously, I think it's quite cliche, but a lot of people say, obviously, my mum, granddad were dropping me to a lot of my games, coming to watch every Sunday. It wasn't too much, to be honest. I mean, I was never like a star growing up. I was never one of the best players in my team. I was just always available, always consistent, worked hard, yeah, and always just gave my best, really. And I suppose I've kind of brought that through to now, really. Again, one of the best things you can have is availability. I think we all know that. Obviously, like in our own careers, if you're available, obviously makes a coach's life a lot easier. So, yeah, that's probably.
Did you start as like the typical striker, winger, and then you came like midfield, centre back then when you was getting older, was it? Or
Yeah. Obviously, first memory, like you said, was probably left wing. Thought I was just Ronaldo growing up, 08, whatever, 09.
Vapors.
Probably had the vapors on. Thought I was the boy coming inside on my right foot, which was terrible. But no, standard. I think, like you said, nothing really was too different about me apart from. You probably have a lot of people say, oh yeah, I went here. But growing up from 8 to 15, 16, I was just Sunday league. I think when I was 15, I signed at Sutton United, which they were in the National League. So we didn't even have like an under 18 set up. My journey was different because I was never really at a club properly, like never signed to a pro club or anything like that. So that was probably my biggest difference.
You see, they gotta update your Wikipedia because when I was doing, some research for this pod, it said you were at Chelsea, said you're at Wimbledon. I think it's at Arsenal as well. So I'm really surprised to hear that you kind of played Sunday League all the way to 15.
Yeah, I think that was because like I did have clubs, like obviously how you used to go on those like 6-week trials.
Yeah.
I did go on like a 6-week trial to Chelsea. I had Arsenal wanted me, but to be fair, the coach I had when I was at a team called Epsom Eagles, he was quite against the old academy route, which was quite rare because obviously a lot of people do that route. But he would rather me stay with him. I don't know if he was looking after his own pocket. I'm not going to say his name, or he actually genuinely believed that the best route was to stay grassroots and go through like that. But yeah, I did have little spells. Like I think I did probably a 3-4 month trial at Chelsea, but while that trial was going on, I was still playing with my grassroots team, and obviously that was just 2-3 times a week training. The Wimbledon thing, that's a bit different. I did go there when I was under 18. That's when I started going on loads of trials. That's when I started playing for Gibraltar, etc. So that kind of opened up exposure for me, playing there when I was 16. Obviously being from England and then going to the U17s here, would have raised eyebrows, I suppose. So got me in a few doors, a bit of exposure.
Who is it within your family that has like the Gibraltar links?
It's my grandparents, my mum's mum and dad. They were born and bred, Gibraltar. So they're both fluent Spanish. And yeah, then obviously my mum was born and bred in London, so she sounds like like me, I suppose. And then yes, the nan and granddad are like fresh Gibraltarians.
So going back to you went to Sutton when you was 15. How long was you there for?
Mm.
Was it just a year and then you moved to Wimbledon on a scholar, was it? Or
No, yeah. So I was at Sutton as a U16.
right.
Then that's when I started the trials at all the clubs basically in the London area, like your
Mhm.
AFC Wimbledon. Then I signed at Barnet on a. Do you remember the schoolboy contracts?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I did a schoolboy. Um, then I got to my like beginning of the second year as scholar. I was still a
Hmm.
schoolboy,
Hmm.
and I had like championship clubs like Bristol City, stuff like that, asking me to go on trial.
The
And
my
then
boys, Bristol City boys, the my
Bristol
boys.
City boys, yeah.
Hmm.
So I was like, right, well, I'm gonna have to go. Like they were obviously telling me I can't go, but I was on a schoolboy, so it was really easy to get out of. Ended up going on this trial, and then Connor, this might be news to you as well. Then I ended up going to Fiorentina for 2 weeks.
No way.
No
Hey, some
Yeah,
way.
which was
resume this guy has.
crazy.
But it's
Yeah,
completed football
crazy.
already.
Yeah, so I went out to Italy
Forward
to.
and completed it.
He's playing career mode.
I felt like I'm on Football Manager telling this story. It was like random, like really random. I was sat in a hotel room in Derby. I was on trial at Derby, and I get a text from this fella, and he was like, "I need to speak to your parents." I was like, "I have no idea who you are." Like, you just WhatsApp me. He was like, "I've got your number off so and so. Call me." I called him. He was like, "I've got Hamburg, Fiorentina, all seen your profile, all really like you." Blah blah blah. I was like, mate, I'm clubless. Like, I had no club at this point. I was like, whatever, I must have been 17, 18. I was like, let's go. I was like, gave him my mum's number, sorted it. I was on a flight to Florence within like the next week. Go
What
out
was
there
what?
for a week.
Easy.
Go
Go
on,
on.
carry on.
No,
No,
go on, go on.
I
What
was
was the
just going
question?
to ask, like, what was that like? Because I suppose it's daunting enough going into a club. You said there you haven't got a club, like it's
Mm.
nerve-wracking going in, but then going to a country where they don't speak English, like what was that? That must have been tough now.
Well, that was the thing. My mum sold me a dream. She was going like, oh, everyone speaks English everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, so, it's one of them ones. English, most spoken language. I went there, mate. No one spoke English. I was like, this is horrible. Like, no. You know how normally there's always one or two that will speak English in a team. Like nobody spoke English, and I was like,
Wow.
oof, yeah. I was like, this is tough. So I was like proper homesick. I didn't think I was homesick. I'd gone on all these trials to Bristol, Derby, Leicester. I'd been on like 7, 8 trials. I was like, never homesick. Obviously, stayed in digs, and then the Florence thing just threw me off. I just like
Mm.
really missing home, and I was only there for a week. And then when they asked me to stay another week, like it sounds like crazy, like selfish. Like I was like, I don't really want to stay. I was like that homesick. But anyway, I had my nan and granddad came out, and they were like, "Listen, stay. We'll stay with you for a night or two." So they come out. I ended up staying another week, and they actually ended up offering me a year. Then I came back home because I was doing the school. I was still on this schoolboy, so I was like,
Yeah,
I've got to
yeah.
finish my exams. I've got to do these exams. So I came back, done the exams, and then when I went to go back out there, it all changed. Like the academy staff had moved up, and they were like, "We
Mhm.
want you to come back in for another week." And obviously, the experience I had for the 2 weeks, I was like, "Mate, I can't go back out like this
No
and that."
chance.
So I was like, "Listen, like you either want me or you don't." And then I had the whole. This is where like Jib comes into it again. All of the boys here obviously play. Well, most of the boys play in the local league in the Gibraltar Football League. And the top team over there, Lincoln Red Imps, they were like, come and sign with us. We'll look after you on a year deal. All right money for a 17, 18-year-old. So I was like, listen, like I told Fiorentina that I've got this on the table here now. If you don't offer it, then they were like, no, we want you in for a week again. Then that was it, really. It ended like that.
Wow.
And I
Did
ended
you
up
get
going
to
out.
play like any of the because they're obviously they win the league, so they go into like the Champions League
Mm-hmm.
pathways. Did you ever get to experience how long was you there for, sorry, Lou?
Where? Lincoln Red Imps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I was there for 6 months, and then I got bought by Blackburn in the January.
Right. So before we come on to that, did you get to do like any of the European games or anything or
Yeah, no, I was in
oh
the
wow.
Europa League qualification against TNS.
Wow,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I came on, Wales. So I came on in that for the last 35 minutes, I think, at 18, 17,
Right.
18.
What was that like?
Um,
Cool. I'd say it's a cool experience now. Like, I mean, because I
yeah,
played the qualifiers and I go around bloody
yeah,
Maidstone saying that I played Europa League. So
yeah,
definitely,
no,
like,
yeah. No, like you say, I think when I actually first played there, like at that young age, I didn't actually know how big it was, if that makes
mhm,
sense.
mhm,
But now looking back on it, I mean, haven't done it since, so it shows like how hard it actually is. And
of
I mean,
course.
like how good these players are. Even if it was, TNS, they were still like really like to this day. There was a few. I think the striker gave me that. I played half hour. He must have schooled me 3 or 4 times in that half an hour. Like just a proper physical, like just he obviously had my pants down because I was a kid, but
Mhm.
like pause.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
But
There's our first edit
editing, that
out.
might have to go.
Oh, I had to pause myself there. But no, obviously he was, really good experience. Like you said, those European games are really special
Mhm,
for every club. So yeah, no, that
mhm.
was a big achievement and
Oh,
experience.
I want to slightly go back to Fiorentina. Obviously, going to play in Italy, how did it
Mm.
compare to like going on trials at all these clubs in England? How did like the setup and everything compare to like the style of football to
Mm.
going to play over there?
Yeah, it was just like honestly, like real different, like real eye opening. Like some of the negatives, they gave me like a sheet of paper with like my positives and negatives, and like one of my negatives was that like I jumped for headers off both feet, and I was like, what? Like,
That's
doesn't
interesting.
everyone
Yeah.
doesn't everyone like? And you're like, no, like when you're jumping off one side, you need to jump off this foot, like blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, I've never ever even heard of it, like
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense though, because like Italian is their stereotype for their art of defending and how good they are
mm,
defensively. I suppose it's those little
Details.
small details, isn't it, that
mm.
make these top defenders that they have. That's interesting to hear.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah. I mean, even the 2 weeks I was out there, yeah, just everything really. Like they don't like you leaving your slot as a defender, like
Mhm.
real rigid, like what you kind of expect. But yeah, no, like yeah, I haven't told many people about that Fiorentina thing, but yeah, it was a real good experience to be fair.
There we go. Do you still jump the way that do you still jump off both feet for a header? Or did you
Oh
take
yeah,
it in?
absolutely. Yeah, well, you've all played in the National League. I'm not jumping off 1 foot.
Yeah.
You're getting crunched, bro. You're getting
Yeah.
crunched. But like, was there a big difference, like technically, compared to
The only
England?
the only thing I remember, obviously, I was really like it was like 6, 7 years ago now. But the only thing I remember coming back to was that like every warm up had a ball involved,
Hmm.
and like it's something that like now I've started a bit of coaching, and I want to start my coaching journey. Like it's something that I'm trying to now do because we all of us have been around the leagues or whatever in England, and sometimes you do warm ups, and I find myself zoning out a bit when there's no football involved. If you know what I
Hmm.
mean, even if you're doing the 4 lines, like the standard English warm up, where you're in your 4 lines, you jog through.
Hmm.
I just remember the coach just going around with a ball, throwing it to the guys, like running. You know, when you get to the end of the line, half volley,
Hmm.
volley, header,
Yeah.
like he just throw it to you. And I don't know. I don't know if that was every club in Italy. No idea, but
I
they're
said
just the little things I remember.
exactly, it's repetition. I suppose if you're doing that a day to day,
Mm.
so I mean, you're gonna get better. Connor hasn't mastered that yet, but he showed me he's got some work to do.
I had my boy at the park before he went back to Ireland. I was putting him
Hey,
through a little master class.
listen, I started the season well, so I'll put it down to that, my boy. Don't you worry about that. Anyway, no, but moving on, like, did you say you got bought from Blackburn or you just moved
Mm.
over?
Yeah, no. So I was at Lincoln Red Imps in
Hmm.
Gibraltar. Um, went on trial at Blackburn for 2 weeks, and
Nice.
yeah, ended up signing at Blackburn. I don't know the fee. There there was something, obviously I don't know the compensation, whatever you want to call it. Um, and yeah, so I did 6 months in Gibraltar, and then I was really fortunate that Blackburn took me on there. Yeah, when I was 18, I was signed there.
Happy to be back home, was it? Or
Yeah, obviously it was miles away from home,
right?
so it felt like I wasn't going home. But yeah, it
It's
was good.
crazy that the clubs that you're talking about. You've gone from Barnet Schoolboy to Fiorentina to Lincoln
Mm.
Redhams to Black. That is a pretty I don't want to say my boy burst on the scene like Micah Richards, but pretty meteoric rides,
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Looking back on it, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, but yeah, don't know what more to say.
How long was you at Blackburn for, Louis?
Um, 4 years.
Right. Was there ever like an
4 years.
opportunity where you could break into the first team or?
Oh, they're real difficult. So when I was first there, the first couple years, not really. I broke what's it called? I don't even know what it's called. What do you even call? You know the thing on your toe? I don't know what it's
Yes.
called, but I couldn't move my big toe.
Metatarsal?
It wasn't that, but it was the thing that's connected to your foot,
Almost
but
like
it's
your
on your
toe
big
knuckle.
toe. Yeah, something like that. And I broke that, like ruptured that, and it went back. So I was out for 3, 4 months when I first got there. Um, and then obviously I made my debut in the cup, and I thought that was going to be the time to push on. And then
Wow.
basically just never really happened. I mean, beginning of my last season there, they told me I could go, and then that's when I made my debut in the cup. So I was like, "Well, are you telling me I can go, or
Yeah.
now you're playing me in the cup competitions?" I was on the bench. I was thinking, right, well, I'm not that far off it.
Hmm.
Um, but no, then obviously a few clubs in Ireland came in, and then that was the next step.
Right. Oh, so you went from Blackburn to Dundalk, was it straight away?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Okay. Damn, my boy's moving around. Yeah, in like
yeah,
European. Yeah, I don't mind
yeah,
it.
That
Did
yeah.
like
passport
how
is
did
getting stamped.
yeah,
Facts.
literally.
Tour
How
de
did that
Europe.
how did that Dundalk move come about?
So yeah, as I said, like beginning of my last season, so like the fourth season at Blackburn, they're like it all changed. The director changed, the manager changed. John Dahl Thomason came in. Don't know if you know him, the Danish striker. Yeah, he
Can't
was
say
meant to
I
be a
do.
real good player, but he came in. The director changed, and they basically said, "Listen, you're 20. I think I was 22 at the time." And he said, "We're going down the younger route. Like for the 23s, we want young players. Like you're kind of caught in between. We feel like the best thing for your career is to go and play men's football." So I said, "Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. That's fine." Um, just started looking really from the whole season. Had like your standard like League Two clubs come in, and I just thought that the pathway for me would be different, just because I had
Right.
obviously the international experience. I thought, well, let me try abroad again, and I had a few teams in Ireland. I had Derry, Dundalk, Cork. So it was like picking out those three really. And
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I just went with the highest bidder, but
Hmm.
ended up at Dundalk. That was
Nice.
really it, to be fair. And obviously spoke with Stevie. I knew Dundalk because we probably all heard of them from the Europa League run they went on,
Hmm.
etc. So I heard of them. Obviously looked at the league table. Obviously, I think you were playing in that season, Bernie, when they finished
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
European spot. So watched the highlights from all those games. Obviously, I knew of Alfie Lewis playing against
Hmm.
him at 23s. So I was like, he looks like he's doing well out there, this and that. So I thought, let me just go there instead of going like the standard drop down to League Two, National League, and see how it goes.
There we go. You had a really good season as well. I remember watching it. Connor, you could have been watching it with me that you wouldn't have remembered because you wouldn't have known Louis at the time, but you scored the goal against Rovers to
Yeah,
win 1-0. Was
yeah,
that in the cup, the first round
yeah.
of the cup?
No, that was in the league, but that was
Was that in the league?
with the next game we played them in the cup. We had them back to back at Oriel. That was
Yeah.
probably the highlight of my time at Dundalk. Obviously, I had a lot of lows, which was not to
Mhm.
do with the club. I had injuries, I had illness. Obviously, I was in hospital for a bit, so nothing down to the club. It was just sometimes football doesn't go the way you want it to with a
Mhm.
club. Obviously, I would have loved to do really well with Dundalk, but it just didn't work out that way. And sometimes the best thing to do is just move on when stuff like that happens.
I remember seeing that goal and said, yeah, damn. Now I know why they released me. They're bringing in Louis. That's why. Do you know what I mean?
How did you find the transition from playing more under 23s football and training with the first team to actually being like a first team player and like being settled, so to speak, at the club?
Mm. Yeah, that was probably another reason why I probably didn't do as well at Dundalk as I would have wanted to, just because I probably, like a lot of 23s players, struggle with that transition as getting the, like I would always say to like people, like I would rather, and this is like playing this year in the National League, just I can't even believe I used to say this, but like I wouldn't mind the striker flicking it on to my goalie because we keep the ball. But like in Ireland, in the National League, like that was like, no, like you've got to win the header, head it back 20 yards the other way. But like in my head, I was always like, oh, I'll nudge him, try chest it and play, or I'll let him flick it onto me, or stuff like that. But like that was all the stuff I was trying, and probably they were probably looking at me like, who the hell have we brought in here?
You know, I'll tell you what as well. You don't face any John Akindays in 23s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. The strikers you're playing against in Ireland, like there's some real good strikers. Obviously, Boyd, the one at Shelbourne, who obviously you play with, like they're good strikers. So there's a lot of talent in the League of Ireland as well. Like, I probably thought that the level wasn't going to be the level it was, if that makes sense. Like it surprised me actually how good it was, and I think it's actually getting better. Like as years go on, I think it's getting a lot better. Like I look at the league now and think, yeah, I probably wouldn't get a sniff at a minute.
No, you would, bro. You take my place. Do you know what I mean? You take my place.
That. I've watched Duffy's interviews, mate. He looks demanding, mate.
Did you ever find it like difficult throughout the season where I suppose coming from 23s, you're not playing in front of many people, but then when you come to first team and you're playing consistently in front of crowds, like what was your consistency like? Did you find that part hard almost like every game you have to be at it, otherwise you're getting beat, and then if you get beat, you got the pressure of having to win the next game and stuff. Like what was that like for you, like for your first like senior season, so to speak?
Yeah, I think the crowds never really affected me just because of the Gibraltar thing. Obviously, I'd had since I was 18 coming in, but the bit where you said about, especially at a club like Dundalk, like it's like you can't lose 2 games in a row there. Like
100%.
that was the big pressure. Like to me, it wasn't like, oh, we've got Rovers today, they're going to bring 3,000, or we're going to Rovers and playing in front of 8. Like that wasn't the bit that got me. It was the bit was, oh, we lost on Friday 1-0. We're like, we can't lose this Friday. Like, and like the fans wouldn't have it if you lost. Like like they were real passionate, and yeah, it was unacceptable to lose 2 games in a row, to draw, lose to anyone below you was like the end of the world. Like real emotions. Like, and I'd never seen that before. If you lost at 23s, it was like, yeah, on to next week. You know, we played all right, but we lost. Like that's not the levels at Dundalk. You can play real good and lose, and play real bad and win, but they'd rather you play bad and win. And that's obviously men's football, really.
Exactly. And I want to come on to it. You touched on it briefly there, but I remember speaking to Keane, or was it Keane Rowan?
Yeah, Keane Rowan.
Confused me now.
Ian, how do you?
But
why are you calling him Keane? Why are you calling him Keane?
I don't know, bro. Like I don't know him that well. Like I've got his Instagram and all, but like
I know better than you do.
I remember him. He came in around the time you got was it an injury or something where you couldn't play for so long and you was in hospital. I remember like speaking to John about it when we've spoken about you in the past. But what was that? Because you was out for quite a little bit of time.
Yeah, that was a madness. I had sepsis in my hip. So yeah, it was mental. Like just literally, I was telling a story yesterday actually to one of the boys here. Like just got up from a dinner table, and when I tell you the pain I had in my hip, I was like, oh, I thought I pulled my hip. Drove home, got up from the sofa again, and literally like a pain that made me just sit back down. And then obviously, Danny Miller, I was calling Danny, and real, like, yeah, obviously Danny is, without him, I don't know what would have happened, but he basically sent me straight to the hospital. And then I didn't end up leaving the hospital in Ireland for, I think it was like 3.5 weeks. Wow. Yeah, the sepsis was like, I don't know, it was in my hip. It was stopping me stopping me walking, basically stopping me moving anything around. So yeah, I was on antibiotics for like 2 weeks, like 4 times a day, and then obviously coming out of the hospital after 3.5 weeks, I then had to learn to walk again because
Bloody
my
hell,
like
Louis.
my whole leg had like John Martin will tell you when I came back in, like I was on crutches still for the next, I don't know, 2 weeks, and then when I went back to try and walk in, when I could walk, like I had the craziest limp, like my leg was going out to the side a little bit. So it was like doing all that again, then getting on the grass. So it ended up being like a 3-4 monther until I was actually back
Yeah.
playing. So it was like, yeah, like a nightmare start to being out in Ireland, really. But yeah,
Like
real bad.
I didn't realize how bad it was. Like I didn't realize you were in
Mm.
the hospital for like 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was real bad. Obviously, just yeah, I went there thinking I was just getting a scan on my hip, and yeah, done the blood test, and they were like, oh, in my infection levels were real bad, and
Yeah.
yeah, ended up didn't leave there for about 3.5 weeks. So
When
yeah, it
when
was real
was that?
tricky.
That
It was
that
like
would have been at the
literally,
start.
it was literally. I played the first. It was it's actually mad how it worked like football. Like it was like I think it was the third game of the season. We'd struggled the first two, and then we played Shells. Was it
Hmm.
Shells? No, we played St. Pat's,
Right.
and we beat them 5-0. I scored,
Yes,
kept a
I remember
clean
the
sheet,
game.
and I remember like, okay, this is it. We were in Saturday recovery, and then Sunday all this happened, and I was like, what are the odds that just got going, and then
I can't even say that's football for you because you go through ups and downs and all, but that was just genuinely a freak accident. Like what the hell?
yeah, exactly. No,
So
yeah,
what
there
I
was
mean?
like there's nothing anyone could have done. Like it
Yeah.
was nobody's fault. It wasn't like yeah, like you said, it was just a freak. But it's just the timing was just like I don't know.
Typical.
Yeah, call it bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then when was your first game after that? Sorry, Con. Was your first game back?
Think I missed. So I obviously missed the March internationals,
Hmm.
missed the June. I think I played UCD at home. Yeah, summertime, probably June, like end of June, maybe beginning of July.
Right, okay. And that's
So
all. And
yeah,
then
I
you got
was
what,
yeah,
4 months then? 4 months of the
yeah,
season.
yeah, and then that's when obviously then I had my hammy issue. I had two hammies at the end of that season. So I think I ended up playing 20 games, but I had the illness. I had the back-to-back hammies. I had a grade 3 and grade 2. So I missed most of the season through illness and injury.
I'll tell you what, you've done well to get 20 games in there with all the stuff that happened to you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like whenever I was fit, obviously I would, yeah, I was like ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Because of
Mhm.
obviously what had happened. But yeah, no, yeah, real bad luck.
And
But
that
you performed well in those. Sorry, Con, but you performed well in those 20 games because I've been in Ireland now for a little while, and like people come and go, like they do a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and
Mm,
forget about them. But there's always people talking about you. Now, obviously, we have mutual friends and stuff.
yeah,
But I know I would remember you for having a good season, like at Dundalk. Now, obviously, I watched the games as well, but still, I thought you did very well.
yeah. To be fair, I mean, whenever someone asks me about my season in Ireland, I kind of call it a disaster. Um,
Really?
yeah, and like even now, like my agent said to me the other day, he was like, he must have been speaking to someone, and they said, oh yeah, we remember Louis from Ireland, and I said, tell him that I'm a complete different player to when I was in Ireland. Like, do not go off me in Ireland. Like, I'd rather you watch me now or
Mhm.
whatever, watch me for Gibraltar because yeah, I just felt like I never got to show my like best over there, if you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
it was disappointing, but like I said, it was no one's fault really. So I
Mhm.
can't look back on it with any like sourness.
Yeah, it
Uh,
puts everything in perspective as well because no one, I think all of our biggest fears as footballers is getting injured, and we've all
Mm,
not had the best luck at times with that. But having something like sepsis that's actually life-threatening just puts these like small little issues that crop up for players into perspective, doesn't it? You must have like a total after the sepsis, you must have had totally a different perspective once you had the issues with your hamstrings.
yeah, like it just obviously makes you obviously be grateful for every every session, every game. So even now, like it follows through with me really that, you don't take the time on the grass for granted because you actually never know, like touch wood, obviously you never know when your last session, your last game is. So it's very cliche, but like it's actually true, like every session there's always someone out there injured who would rather be in your sport if you're not up for it. So like every session,
100%.
even here, like today we went to the pitch and the pitch was really poor and I was like, lads, there's people playing on a lot worse than this. Like people are like, oh, there's holes in the grass. I'm like, mate, like people don't have grass. Like,
Yeah.
like passing drill is going to go wrong because of the ground. That's fine. We have
Yeah.
40 balls. Some people have one football, so they've got to go and get that ball. Like, again, all cliche stuff, but we've all heard it before, but it actually is true. So,
100%. And you did just the year, and this takes you on to Braintree then, Louis. Obviously, Braintree was your first club, excuse me, after Dundalk.
so no, I had another year at Dundalk after that first year.
Right.
Did the first what? So I signed at Braintree in June. So I don't know what
It would have been 6 months. Yeah, it would have been the first 6 months of the second year then.
So I think I ended up doing like the 5 months, and then obviously Stevie left or got obviously whatever you want to call it, got mutual sacked, whatever, and that was basically, to be fair, as soon as that happened and it all started going different directions, obviously like a lot of the people left who were there when I signed, that kind of left it a bit sour with me, and just again decided to go in separate directions, which I felt was best for myself and probably the club. Obviously then they wanted to make new signings, and it just worked out like that really, that I left, they signed who they wanted or who the manager wanted as well, and coming back home kind of suited me at that time, just obviously with the 18 months I had at Dundalk, not being healthy, not being fully fit, I kind of wanted to come back home and just really assess what happens, and that led me into the Braintree.
Braintree would be local to you, right?
Takes me an hour and a half every morning.
Right, okay.
Hour and a half?
I suppose, yeah.
I was going to say,
I didn't realise that.
He lives up there with the farthest. I remember trying to hop with him, and I was like, that's too far for me even. But yeah, no, you and who do you car school with? Venno?
I'm with James Vennins and John Akinde.
Yeah, that's a good car school right there.
Yeah, it's a great car school, right? It's a great car school. Couldn't ask for a better car school.
James Vennin, he got promoted with Bromley last year as well.
Yeah, good player.
He used to play for Charlton. Yeah, I'd known him from Charlton. Like, I've seen him out a few times, and we say hello to each other. He's a cool guy. Good player as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like, when I went in there, I would say the player that impressed me the most right away was him. And Coops as well.
What about my boy Louie?
No, but I always like the midfielders. You know what I'm saying?
I'm only messing.
Stepping up.
Don't worry, Con. We know I'm not that impressive, mate. Just do your job. Roy Keane, do your job.
Hey, Bob, I'm going to come out with some good knowledge here. The first game I watched, you had an assist, a little cutback, a whip in. I think you got team of the week from that. Altrincham, maybe?
Oh, yeah, right back days. All right, right centre back. Yeah.
Come on. Once I saw my boy in the game, I said, this guy's the best.
I knew you two were click, man, because I remember when you went to Braintree Con, I said, there's a boy there that used to play for Dundalk, we'd have mutual friends, and it was Louie. And now look, fast forward it, we got him on the pod.
Who would have thought it?
There you go. So, but how's the season going, man?
Yeah, no, real good. Like, to be fair, obviously coming from Dundalk, I just said to myself, I need to just play as many games as possible. I haven't had a season where I played 30, 40 games. So that was my goal, really, just to play in like a real tough league. Obviously, again, we all know here how tough the National League is. Like real tough. After I went on loan there when I was 19, 20 from Blackburn, and I hated every single minute of it, to be honest. And so coming back, I was like, it's actually quite a big step for me, because I said to myself, I will never play in that league again after playing in it, because I just feel like it is just so one dimensional at times, like long ball, channel ball. But yeah, I thought, right, if this is a time where I've got to do it, let's go do it. And ended up signing at Braintree, obviously promoted from the south, and I thought it would be a challenge, definitely be a challenge. And it definitely has been a challenge. But no, to be fair, like to not blow smoke up my ass, I think I've had a decent season. As in,
Good.
not been one of the best, but I've not been bad. If you know what I mean. I've got my 40
Steady
games
Eddie.
now, so yeah,
I was
steady
going to
Eddie.
say you have
Mm,
played consistently.
mm.
You
No,
played
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
games.
yeah. No, I think I've started 40 odd. So that was the goal at the beginning of the season. One of the goals. The other goal is obviously to stay up, which we're looking on course to do. So still obviously not done, as you guys know. The league is if you lose two on the bounce, you're suddenly straight back in relegation battle, or if you're going for the playoffs or promotion, every game does matter. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
How do you find the league compares to the League of Ireland? Because we get asked this quite a lot, and
Damn.
Bernie gets asked this quite a lot.
I hate
My
this
boy took my
question.
question. My boy took my
Playing in both.
question.
Oh, come on.
I hate this question. I hate this question. We do this all the time. I go for coffees with people. They're like, "Oh, what's this league like compared to this league?" I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I find it
Would you
hard.
say
It's
it's a
so
lot
easy to
more?
say.
But like I always found it's like so the styles of players are completely different. As in,
Mm,
I find League of Ireland there's more teams like to play out and they have a structure of breaking lines and playing from the back. Whereas I found National League to just be route one in your
mm,
face, bar maybe Gateshead, and we had Notts County in the league when I was there. Bar them two teams, I'd say it was just route one. The average age is a lot higher, so there's a lot more sort of know-how.
mm.
I found that was the day. I don't know if you echo that, but that's from my opinion. That's what I always say to people when they ask me.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, that's
Mm,
exactly what I think. I think obviously take out now is probably Shells and Rovers. I'd probably say they would be. I, I, I think they would win the National League. I don't know.
mm,
Obviously, it's so hard to say you put this team in here, but like they would obviously be near the top, the bottom end of League of Ireland. I don't know. I'd say the League of Ireland now is probably a lot better
mm,
when I was there.
mm.
To be honest, looking at it from the outside perspective, I think this year is going to be real tight. I don't know who's going to go down. Well, when I played, it was kind of there was always two or three that you would have looking down on, as in they're going to
Yeah.
go down. If you know what I mean.
Mm.
This season, I don't know if you agree, Boney, but it looks real tight. Like I don't know who
So
is. So
you've only got to look at the league at the minute. I mean,
yeah,
I think they're top of the league at the minute. So,
mm.
um,
And they nearly
yeah,
went down
literally
last
that.
year.
That's what I
Exactly.
mean. Yeah,
Exactly.
so tough.
It's such a
There
crazy
you go.
league as well because I agree. I think there's a massive difference between the top and the bottom of the league from what I've watched, but it's only 10 teams versus,
Hmm.
it would
Yeah,
make more sense in a league like the National League where there's 24. It is crazy the massive disparity, even in terms of like setup and attendances. If you look at like Shamrock Rovers versus clubs below them, and
Hmm.
obviously
But
Shells.
I do find as well, and I'm not obviously I'm not just trying to say that because I'm playing in the league, but like Louis said, I think without being disrespectful, if you go back maybe 2, 3 years ago, there was always a team where you'd be like, oh well, they're going to go down, or then
mm.
you
Mm.
could
They're
play
going to
it
be down
sort of
there.
you could play it not 50%, but you could come off a little bit and you'd probably win the game. Whereas now it's like, I mean, you look at we drew to Cork last week, who have just come up. We got beat to draw the week before that. We beat Derry, who are a really good team in this league. So it is much more competitive to what it was. And also, I find as well, I know I'm waffling on a bit about League of Ireland, but the attendances and all have gone up. We've just signed a deal with Virgin to show games and stuff. So the league's just getting bigger and bigger, man. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. No, I'd
I'd say
agree. Yeah,
obviously, I haven't obviously played in League of Ireland, but I'd say the thing that's so tough about the National League is just it's relentless because of the 46 games. There's just
100%.
there's just so many games, and it's week after week. Especially now, like you're traveling so far. Like Braintree this week had to go to Gateshead, and like what a result that is, traveling that far on a Tuesday night. Like the distances and everything you're covering is crazy in that league.
no, definitely. I think that's another thing about the National League and England is that you got to factor in. Like when I was in Ireland, we didn't do a single overnight stay. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's the same now with you,
Hmm.
but like
Hmm.
we didn't do one, and I was like, "This is mental." Like
Hmm.
you don't travel as far. One, two. The other thing that killed me over there was playing the same team 4 times. I was like it's crazy. Like
Hmm.
couldn't get my head around it. Like normally, if you don't like playing one certain striker and then you got to play him 4 times, I'm like, long day. Do you know what I mean? Long day.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. You could even
that's
draw them
another
in the
good
cup
thing.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you could end up playing 5, 6 times. So like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that was the annoying thing.
exactly.
But like you said, the League of Ireland it was a real good league when I was there, but it looks like it's growing like year on year. And I think you can see with all the kids who go from like Shamrock to England or go from Shell, like people are going like getting moves to England, getting moves to I think a few of them. We had a boy actually, Senan Mullen. I don't know if you had him.
Oh, bro, yeah,
I
he's
don't know
playing.
in Torino, bro. He was on the bench against AC Milan. I was
That's
like,
Stop.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mad,
like yeah, I was playing with
mad.
him last year. Like I was like mental, but like
100%.
that's the type of moves they're getting from the League of Ireland. Where I personally, someone might prove me wrong. I don't think someone gets a move from Gateshead, Braintree to Torino. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I
unless they're
think
Definitely.
like
that
really
shows.
young or something and they got
Yeah.
bags
Yeah,
of ability, but I
yeah.
haven't
Who's that young
seen
lad
it.
at Shamrock, the 16-year-old that scored in the Europa Conference League the other week? The little ginger
Noonan.
striker. Because
Yeah,
he's like
Noonan.
16, had to go to school the next day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Noonan.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, even
Yeah,
him
that's
looks
it.
like a handful at 16. Like, he
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah,
a good player. So,
yeah.
like,
But I feel
He'll be a
like
good player.
almost there's a lot of managers in the National League because of how relentless it is and the style of football that you don't get a lot of like 17, 18-year-olds actually getting given a chance in the National League. Like it's very
no,
rare, especially because at the moment, like there's still 10 teams that can go down potentially.
mm,
That's a big portion of the league that could potentially get relegated. So the fact gaffers don't really want to risk it.
No,
no, definitely.
100%.
I think that's the case. I think Boney, you said it. Like, a lot of people go with like the ones who have been there, done it type,
Hmm.
instead of giving an
Hmm.
18-year-old who might be, I don't know, maybe better on the ball, but he doesn't have the know-how that X and Y have. So they stick with X and Y because they've been there and done it with them, or they've done it the season before. So I think in England that happens a lot where they just stick to what they know and don't want to give like
100%.
new opportunities, which is tough. But that's why I was grateful to um, Braintree to even give me the opportunity because I wasn't proven in England. I wasn't really proven anywhere apart from maybe Gibraltar. I know it's obviously still international football, so it gave me that type of exposure. But yeah, I was obviously grateful just to come back home really, and that was a perfect opportunity.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, Louis, we know you're busy, so the pod, obviously the thumbnail, it's already pre-designed. I want to get into your Gibraltar career a little bit more. What is like? Well, first off, how did I know Gibraltar didn't make a team until not too long ago? So how did it come about to you even getting in the system in Gibraltar?
Um, yeah, so I used to go there every year on holiday with my mum, my nan, granddad, sisters, dad. We always used to go over there every summer, really. My uncle lives there, so we used to go visit him, visit my cousins, standard stuff. And then, like you said, I think it was 2011, 2012 when they got into UEFA, so they could start playing the games, or maybe 2012. Yeah, around that time. And yeah, I think when I was 15, my uncle said to me, "Oh, you should go and train with the under 16s. I know the assistant. Obviously, you're eligible. Let me speak to him. Blah blah blah." Ended up going to train with them, and then yeah, ended up doing a tournament when I was 15 for the under 16s. Then went away with the under 17s not long after, and then yeah, just went through every age group: U19s, U20, U21s, and then seniors. So that was it really. Yeah, wasn't really too much to it.
What age was you when you made your debut for the seniors?
17, yeah. So yeah, when I
Wow.
was 7 years ago.
Yeah, that must have been, I say your grandparents were proud, no, and your family as well, even
Mm,
yourself, like international football,
mm.
like it's incredible. Some of the experiences and the exposure that you get, that must have been something you look back on fondly, your debut for Gibraltar for sure.
No, definitely, like you said, obviously, yeah, granddad, yeah, everyone, yeah, whole family was obviously real proud. It was actually the story of that was actually quite nice. I was on the bench. Obviously, my first call up was like this time March. 2017 or 2018, one of the two. And I was actually, obviously you don't expect to start on your first call up. So I was obviously prepping day before match day -1. He did the team and I was on the bench. I was absolutely fine. I was just buzzing to be there. We warm up. I'm doing the rondos on the match day, and the left centre back gets injured in the warm up. And I was like looking over, you're thinking like squeaky bum time. I was like, is he going to call me or not? Like, I'm looking over, getting on with the rondo. I'm like, don't even know if I want him to call my name. I was like, be nervous as anything. And then he said my name, and like, I just remember like going like numb. Like my whole body just went numb. I sprinted in. Obviously the starters had gone in already. And I was like, I sprinted in. Like everyone must have been looking at me. And like even the boys joke about it now. Like they said I looked like a ghost when like I was in the tunnel and that. Like, and yeah, ended up doing really well. We won. So it was it was a real good debut.
Sorry, Lou, who was that against?
Latvia at home we had. It was
Nice.
Yeah, so nice 1-0, clean sheet, win. So yeah, couldn't have gone much better. Obviously I had the now assistant manager was my centre back partner on the day.
Way.
So learned a lot from him. So yeah, no, it was that was a nice experience, as you said.
Fast forward that now. What is it? Is it 48 appearances?
48, yeah. So hopefully Saturday.
Wikipedia did me well.
I was gonna say, you got off the top of your head.
I should have gone there and said, "I'm at 55, mate. What are you talking about?"
Don't. I would have ended the Zoom call. You boys carry on. But I even went onto Flash Score. I've got it on my notes, and I checked Wikipedia. I said, "I'm coming with smoke when I ask him. When I say it."
And you still weren't sure. You still weren't sure.
No, I was panicking. It froze there for a second. I was like, come on, Lou, please agree, please agree. But I'd say, like, we've obviously got a few questions, but we said there about the experiences. I remember a few years back, you were in the group with Ireland, France, was it the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about that, man. Like, that must just, wow, that's incredible. Like, playing against all these superstars.
Yeah, like you said, obviously we drew that group, and like my first thought was, oh wow, France. Like it's like one of the ones I wanted to tick off, obviously. And yeah, just a surreal moment, like even stepping on the pitch, because it was obviously that year where we had those games. That was my like tough year with illness and injury. So I think I only played 6 out of 10, which still I didn't do bad to get to those camps for them. But like I came on against France minute 60, and I remember I was playing in midfield actually, and I remember I was like, right, I'll just go in midfield and see who I'm up against, and I look ahead of me, I see Camavinga and what's his name, Tushimeni. I was like, wow, like I'm not going to get near these two, and I'm fresh. Like they've been on since 60. They're just strolling about.
Yeah.
Like the way they pass the ball is just like so different almost to how like I would. But like they just like look like they're stroking it out. Like, and then it's just it is like almost, people say it probably like a different level. Like watching it, like, and I was almost like a bystander watching them play. Like I'm pressing them, but like they're probably thinking he's not pressing me. Like it was just surreal, like you said.
Did you manage to get a shirt?
Yeah, I got Upamecano's in that one.
That's cool,
I always
man.
try and get a centre back. To be fair,
That's
I
cool.
just want to try and build a collection of the defenders.
Who have you got? Who's like your favourite so far that you've managed to pick up?
To be fair, I'm waffling because I said about defenders, but De Jong's probably my favourite.
That's sick.
Yeah, I got him when we played them away, and then I got De Ligt when we played them at home. So them two are probably my two favourite, to be fair.
Do the boys like fight over them? I know when we played when we were playing in the FA Cup, like we were discussing like, oh, if we get Liverpool, we get such and such. Like the boys proper fight over it and say like, oh, we're playing France, I'm getting Mbappe's, or
not the convos I'm involved in. Nah, because I wouldn't want to. I'm one of those people. I don't really want to like talk about that before the game. Just because, I don't know. I understand why people do it. And to be fair, it does cross my mind. Don't get me wrong. I'm only human. Like, I'm thinking, like, it'd be nice to have that in my collection. But, like, I don't know. Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think people do obviously plot who they're going to get. Like, I think Mbappe actually gave 3 or 4 out. I don't think he, which is obviously good of him, because I think a lot of the boys went up to him and asked him for one. I was just happy with it. I saw him after another picture, and for me, that'll last a while. So that was yeah, that was nice.
And you got to, did you play in the game against Ireland at the Aviva?
Yeah, that was my first. That was my first 90 back from the illness, actually. So
Oh, wow.
that was a real special game. Yeah, and obviously Danny was there on the side, the physio, who
Yeah.
helped me a lot, and he actually got me Nathan Collins' shirt because he knew about me doing all the, like, they're trying to get a collection as defenders. So yeah, no, that was a special game. I'll always remember that game.
And the atmosphere, I'd say it was great because I've been to a few Ireland games and they bring the atmosphere.
Definitely, that's my favorite. One of my favorite grounds to go to. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
It was that loud and stuff.
Yeah, the first time I played there was probably better than the second, atmosphere wise, because that's when Ireland were, like, doing really well. But yeah, no, definitely Aviva is one of the best stadiums I've played in. I just think that, like, the pitch is unbelievable, the atmosphere is unbelievable, just everything. I thought the change rooms were like, yeah, they're just, yeah, like you've played there, like you said, and been there. It's obviously a joke, so that was good.
I tell you, this brother's completed football, man.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just saying there about the Aviva, the Youngsha, the Licksha.
No, you know the best thing? He's saying, I said, interested in trying to get Mbappe's shirt. He's just so cash as well because he gets to play against them.
It's
like,
one of his two.
Bro, I didn't even think about that. He's just a colleague, bro, basically. We're just fighting against him. Rival business. Like,
Colleague.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm just lucky to have trained with you, bro, honestly.
Nah, trust me, I'm nothing special. Just absolute. All I need to do is Wembley is like, that's all that plays in my head. No, I've never played there. I would love to play at Wembley. Just whether that's with, obviously, I'd love to do it with Gibraltar. That'd be unbelievable. But
does
even
the Nations League make it harder now to play against the bigger nations, so to speak, or not?
To be honest, the Nations League is one of the best things that happened for Gibraltar. Obviously, another, like, real proud achievement for me was we won Nations League Group D. So I think for, like, the smaller nations, that Nations League is probably, like, one of the biggest tournaments for us, if that makes sense, because obviously we have a lot more chance of winning not only the league, but it's a lot more competitive, the games. So, like, for example, I love playing in those games because you're not playing against, like we speak about MBAPPE, these players who play a lot higher level, are obviously a lot higher level than myself. Like, they're obviously playing in Champions League. They're much tougher games to try and nick results in than, like, the Nations League. I think that's why obviously I enjoy playing the Nations League, because it's a lot more competitive.
No,
Come out. I've got one more question. I don't want to keep you long, but I could honestly, bro, I could pick your brains for ages. But, like, what would you say the difference is, like, from literally, you like you said there, Camavinga to Tchouaméni, like, compared to, say, now League of Ireland, National League? Like, what would you said there? You mentioned it, obviously how they just pass the ball is just different, but, like, in terms of, like, athleticism, like, they're just machines, are they?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is they're all like stallion horses. Like, they're all, like, fast, strong, they'll out jump you. Like, it's just another level. Like, I think all of those guys in that team, just, yeah, unbelievable technically. But, like, apart from technically, they're so fast, so strong. Their game awareness, game knowledge is, like, so good. Like, they all know that when Camavinga picks the ball up from, let's say, the false left back position, and say Mbappe knows the timing of everything it's just second to none. Like, they don't even have to look. They know.
Wow.
And that's what I'd say is the difference, that they're on the same hymn sheet, singing off the same hymn sheet. And then, yeah, let's not talk about physicality, because they're all strong, fast. Set pieces are a nightmare. You go through your set pieces, like Norway. It's like, oh, Louie, you pick up HAALAND. I'm like, mate, like, don't need that. Like, he's 6'5", massive. I'm like, oh. But like, you got to obviously, like we all do. Like sometimes there might be someone who's bigger, but you just do your best to win the header. Try your best. And try and I don't know, nudge him. That was my aim anyway. Whatever you can do. Yeah, that was it.
Well, I don't know
Really.
about you. I'm going straight to the gym, blood. I'm going straight to do strength and conditioning. Straight away, straight to the sauna after.
Oh, and by the way,
Broccoli for dinner.
I hate the gym as well, but well, absolutely, I'll probably be going as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Has to be done, man.
Him and Venno always going back to Surrey. You'd pull up to the gym, they're the first ones out.
Yeah, that's
right. Hey, that's crazy. You just exposed my boy like that as well.
That's crazy.
Nah, hang on, Con. I'll admit this on the net. I'll always say this. I'm going into training. I'm doing my session, and I'll do gym when I go home.
Exactly.
That's me.
Boys, exactly. I have to say, this has been unbelievable. One final one from me, Louie. I want to know the best 5-a-side of boys you played with or against.
Oh, wow.
And I won't listen. If you put like Camavinga ahead of me in midfield, I won't hold it against you. It's no issue.
Louis just lucky he hasn't played against me. I guess he's just lucky.
And Mbappe in front of John Martin. I won't hold anything against you, bro. Don't worry.
To be fair, I've got to put a couple in that I've played with. That's just rude to go all against. No goalie. We don't need goalies. Yeah, we'll just go rush goalie. Oh, mate, actually tough. I'm going to go players I've played with. I'm going to go James Scanlon, young boy we've got from Man United here. He's going to be he's going to be a good player when he grows up. Yeah, I think he's 18, but he's at United now and he's come into us the last year and real good player. Like you can see already, he's obviously stepped up here and he's going to be one for the future defo. So I'm going to put him in early doors. We'll go MBAPPE, HAALAND. We'll go defenders.
Not yourself?
Nah, not a chance. I don't make it in that team. Nah. Probably Delete. Yeah, George Langston. We'll go George Langston. George Langston with Delete. Yeah, that's decent. Oh, Boney, your boy's just walked in. Keen.
How did the virtual golf go?
Yeah, how was the simulator? They said. Real good, he said.
Yeah, I say he's a dead ass golfer, man.
Boney said you're a dead ass golfer.
Dead ass golfer.
Dead ass golfer. Was it good, mate?
Yeah, not bad.
Nah, to be fair, I knew he was a good golfer when he was getting so angry that we were out playing golf in Villamora, and he said he's not allowed out.
Yeah, he's not allowed out this trip. He's buzzing that he's going to be allowed to play golf in Portugal.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
forgot about that soul. Yeah, you saw them.
Literally, we were just on a holiday in Villamora. I went to the gym, and they just happened to be in the Hilton training there, living and just staying there for a few days or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we say. That Hilton.
Yeah.
It's decent, to be fair.
No, it's decent. Very good.
Ledge. Anyway, any more?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything you want to speak about at the end? I know you have your coaching, if you want to drop that in. But Louie, I have to say, absolute legend, one of the good guys in football, man. Like, thank you so much for spending time with us while you're on your international break. It's been such a good experience for us. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, man.
No, yeah, I've loved it. Loved it as well speaking to you guys. And yeah, I'll be watching the next pods as well. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
We got to get part 2 when you play at Wembley. Part 2 when you play at Wembley.
Yeah, run it up.
There we
Hopefully soon.
Facts. Right. Well, if you've enjoyed the episode, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, the Instagram, TikTok. And yeah, man, we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.